Evening, everyone. My goodness, that was a dramatic game, if anything. But United did get over the line, and boy, did they make us wait for it. A great result at Molineux, a place we normally struggle at, but nothing like, getting away with 3 points when you haven't been the best team. A great performance from the likes of Varane today. Greenwood, in particular, was stellar in that last half an hour. David De Gea, honestly, that guy is different gravy. He is really, really good when the pressure's on him. And it proved today how good he can be when he doesn't look like the player we've seen the last couple of years or so. But what a day, what a performance from Man United. This is the fan review. It's the first one we've done this season. And I thought now being no better a time. I've been very busy, so I haven't been able to host these. And Alexi's a busy man too. He would normally back me up. So having a match on a Sunday means it's a little bit more relaxing and a lot easier to host the show. We can't obviously ignore, excuse me, the fact that this wasn't a routine United performance. So if you want to scapegoat it, if you have opinions or thoughts on how it went, you know what to do. Hit the comments also at will, and I'd much like it to be the case. If you want to join the show, I've already put it on the YouTube chat. You can go in there. The StreamYard link is there for you to hop in, and you can join me for just a few minutes to talk about the game. I mean, if not, we will probably get thoughts of the likes of Alexi, Robbie, and co. at some point later on. But to gloss over it and to give you a proper way understanding of what sort of madness we have had in the last few weeks. Today was just ridiculous. I'm going to hang on. Let me just share the screen a little bit, and I think you should see very shortly. There we go. So I'm using Football, brilliant app. I'm not sponsored by them or advocating them to be like supporting the team here, but I like using this. For me, it's the most insightful app that I can go on to look back at the game and point out things. So the first thing I want to obviously note is a couple of standout moments in the game. First of all, when I take a neutral viewpoint on this match, in particular, excuse me, in particular the way it turned out, Wolves were by far the better team. They were absolutely fabulous in the first half. We did not look like a side that were heading into a game with the intention of going to win it. But it turned out in the end that Ollie must have been literally talking sense into them in that second half, because they looked like a whole different side. Just a little, not immediately, but 15 minutes after, he adjusted the team, made sure that they retained the ball better, started applying pressure further and higher up the pitch. It disappointed me, though, that we hadn't seen that a lot in the first half, where we were more nervous against Wolves. And I honestly think that, they deserved something from this game. It took some brilliance from David De Gea on in front of the goalpost and more to give us the 3 points today, along with Greenwood's excellent finish. So there is a touch of controversy, which I will touch on very shortly. But generally, I am impressed with how he played today. Now, let's go into the lineups in question. I don't have a pitch, sadly. It's not a particularly good coloured pitch. But you can see fancy colours there. That's why I love football. So I wanted to look at our side first. First of all, this is fantastic. Raphael Varane, clean sheet and an assist on his debut. What a player he is. And I think he justifies every penny that we forked out on him this summer. What I believe we have in front of us is, I said it once before, I'll say again, we already have one of the best defenders in the world. He's only gone today to prove in some bits what he's capable of, especially with an incredible partner like our captain Harry Maguire. Those two are immense. There were some moments where Luke Shaw wasn't at his best, but he played his part today. Wan-Bissaka was phenomenal, but forgive me, everyone's still feeling the effects of my laryngitis, so I will cough a bit. But this man, David De Gea, what a performance that was! Look at that. Just look here. Expected goals conceded was 1.91. And I thought today the amount of efforts that Wolves had on our goal, some he couldn't have dealt with, but the ones he did, it were incredible. Especially this one, same side of the box 3. 2 of them were from Roman Saiz was point blank in front of him, and he stopped him first time with the sort of like a pat down off balance before scrambling across to save that. Save the rebound. Truly immense goalkeeper. What a player he can be. When he doesn't have the pressure or the strain of playing football as he has been in the last year or so on his shoulders, he delivers so well. And honestly, this guy is different gravy when he's on form. And it's going to give Henderson a lot to think about, I think. So big props to him today. Big props to him. The one problem with this afternoon, it looks like Ollie had, and it just seems as the game materialized that he'd gone with it. He did eventually listen to us or make a decision on his own? Who knows? But he chose to go with a 4-3-3 today. It's a good idea. It's what the fans have understood, have been crying out for, and I am not against it in the slightest. But Fred, he's not a number 6. And that's something I think we need to start talking about. We've seen today again where he can be culpable when in possession. And when out of possession, he's not that bad. In possession, though, it's a problem. And it needs to be either rectified before Tuesday or something or another needs to happen to improve that. Got a nice comment here from Bengali illustrator who says, I think Varane had a wonderful debut. I just spoke about him and magnificent performance. And I'm chuffed that he played as he did to get his assist as well. It's a simple assist, but they all count towards in the end. And I hope that is the first of many wonderful performances we see from Rafael Varane. We've all been excited to see him play, and now that he is playing, my goodness, has he been incredible to watch. But yeah, back to Fred. Pass success 89% today. He had one shot. We're not going to look over that too much, but I want to focus more on the ball at his feet and his passing. Last week he gave away a few balls against Southampton. This week, passes are inside his own half, 33, 31 of them inside the opposition half, 72 passes for all, 89%. Okay, so that's all right, but he needs to up the tally just a little bit more for me. That's something I feel he needs to do, just up that tally a little bit more. 85 touches, 1 throw. Duels, he lost 3 of them he won, but 8 lost. He's not N'Golo Kante. I don't expect him to win every duel he goes into, but at the very least, he's got to win a few more. He's got potential. He's got great ability to close down play, give the opposition something to think about, and honestly, he can have his good days. He's done it before for United, and I'm sure he'll have the knack of doing that again very, very soon. Bruno was non-existent today, I have to be honest. It's not the sort of game that I thought he was going to have, especially against Wolves. Historically, we don't play well against Wolves, regardless of whether Fernandes has been in the team or not. So today just showed that he needed a little bit more involvement in the game. It may not have been possible to open it up for him because, simply put, Wolves' setup today was ridiculous. And had they taken chances, that would have been a game for them. That would have been their 3 points today. And the fact they still haven't scored a goal in 57 attempts is incredible. Honestly, though, they can and will improve throughout the season. And the next 3 games look a lot easier. So once they get playing against Brentford, they'll probably find the net a lot more swiftly than they have recently. Looking at the rest of this Wolves side, the back three was so hard to pick down. Marcel was free all the time, especially down this side here, like down this left-hand side. When Traore and Trincao or Podence, who came on later on, were constantly switching wings all day. Traore was already a problem for United long before this game, and he proved that today. But a thing I found bizarre was that we were leaving gaps in wide areas a lot. But that comes with Wolves' system, playing five at the back and, forcing their fullbacks to move up a lot more, helping out the midfielders. Neves had an okay game, but that controversial moment, he's discussed it just now on Sky Sports in our country. I'm sure you watched how you've seen it. Will be of interest to you too. But that goal we scored through Greenwood has its controversy, and for me, it's one of those where you think in the Premier League nowadays, the referees are going to give 50-50s. There will be 50-50s in our game. And you will not see nowadays those fouls like we have behind closed doors that referees will sometimes look at again at the VAR screen and give red cards for. Maybe on another day, Pogba gets sent off for that because Neves has practically kicked the ball away as Pogba's gone in for the challenge. And the reaction, obviously, as explained, I'm sure, by whoever you listened to, for me, it was Jamie Carragher today. But the reaction of Neves was clear to the referee and it was late as well. So that may have also swayed Mike Dean's decision. Ultimately, United profited from that. And look, that's what happens. And that's also what happens when you're on the back foot most of the time. If you have those little advantages that come your way, you've got to make the most of them. Varane played a sensational ball into Greenwood, and this boy, he has a future ahead of him. We've spoken enough about it. We waxed lyrical so much about Mason Greenwood. My goodness, are we blessed to have him in our club? And not only that, for him to just be playing for Manchester United it's remarkable. Well done to him. Well done to him. Sancho today it's a meh game for me. I think Sancho is just still learning how to adapt to the new system, how to play for United. It was his first start as well. You wouldn't put him under all that much pressure straight away. Daniel James, with him on the prospect of leaving within the next 48 hours or so, I can see why Ollie's reluctant in letting him go. But because we've brought in, obviously, the best players in the world now, it is still unbelievable to say what Ronaldo's coming back to Old Trafford. But the one caveat we have now is obviously you need to get the wage bill evened up and also need to really get rid of some players to be able to make our finances look a lot better. I still think that Daniel James has a role he can play, as Dalot has, because we do lack a fullback clearly. Atletico Madrid are not going to necessarily panic now and let Trippier go at United's will. And as much as Kieran Trippier wants to return to England, and we've known that he's wanted to return for so long, it is not going to probably happen this summer. It's going to be hard for Atletico to budge on that original deal. If they do, then great. If they don't, then c'est la vie. What can you do? But Daniel James was touching on him. It's an average game. His rating said it 6.1, came off early on in the second half. I think the change was necessary, though, so we could get Cavani on. And let's move over to Cavani, actually, because, my goodness. He had obviously 6.3, but that, for me, doesn't detract the point. What he added was the movement. What he added was the ability to give the defenders, the three at the back walls, something to think about, because they hadn't been worked a lot during the game, and there was scarcely much for them to do. The only time I think they were any time worried, at one time worried, there was Fernandez's offside goal, and that was clear daylight. So they dealt with that one very well. But for me, this guy here changed it with his dynamic running and his ability to stretch the back three while the fullbacks and walls were high up the pitch. Anthony Martial, I think we have scapegoated him recently. He hasn't been at his best. He's not been playing well. But even for just the 18 minutes he was on, contributed massively to United's victory in terms of retaining the ball, just calming things down, keeping it simple, and not letting the players get ahead of themselves, because they did that a lot today. Pogba in particular, sometimes losing possession. Varane had a great game, but even he lost the ball 2 or 3 times today, so he's not immune to that. But I can I'll say for sure he still has a role to play, Anthony Martial, a big role to play in the club, in this team. And the more we see of him, I think we'll definitely be encouraged more by his ability to keep the ball close to his feet, and also encourage teammates to come closer to him so that he can play 1-2s, maybe get a cheeky ball into the box, or score goals himself. Dalot did his job, typical of him. I'm looking forward to seeing if he still is at Old Trafford after this coming Tuesday, whether he has whether he has a lasting contribution for this season, seeing as we won't have Kieran Trippier at Old Trafford in the summer. But we can only wait and see. We can only wait and see. Oh yeah, what a day! But yeah, Wolverhampton. They just to be neutral for a second, they played well. That is the one thing I can say. But they're not going to be happy with me saying that or anyone else saying that. They've played well, but and they looked so capable of scoring goals, but lack that that cutting edge that they need to be able to win games, and not only that, push themselves up the table. But as I've said, they've played against 3 really good sides in their first 3 games. To losing to Spurs, they played well. They played against us very well today and against Leicester. So against 3 of the top 8 last season, they've acquitted themselves brilliantly, and it's showing signs of that Wolves what we all fear from back in the day. They used to stretch teams, make them suffer in games. Sometimes when they beat them well. So I'm encouraged for Wolverhampton, and I think there's every chance that they can improve tenfold as the season wears on. Paul McKeown in there. Nice to see you, Paul. A win is a win, even if we were poor. Hopefully, we can get a DM before Tuesday. I think Ollie said James is basically gone. I've yet to see Ollie's post-match comments, but with Daniel James, I just said yes. If he is still a Man United player after Tuesday, Ollie sees him as a player of use to help the squad depth and also encourage the side to encourage a bit of a different approach in certain games. We've said this about him many times. He is a player for certain matches, is Daniel James. I'm encouraged by him. I think we will see a lot of him wherever he is this season, whether he is out on loan or if it is permanent. In terms of the defensive midfield position, if we just refer back to the United team, this was, as I said, for me, it's glaringly obvious that Fred cannot sit and retain possession or destroy play on his own. He needs this. He always does once or twice rely on the man alongside him, whether it's Pogba, Scott McTominay, or Nemanja Matic. We've spoken enough times on these shows, and then I'm sure you've heard a lot across social media about United's problems when it comes to dealing with the pivot or when dealing with a single pivot in the team. There are some outlasting challenges that you will probably deal with, and one of those is, of course, of sorting out that pivot or having one man in a deep line position. If we're talking candidates, obviously we have to speak of the players that we've been linked with, and Yves Bissouma is clear daylight for me, one of the outstanding options who could play that role and allow Fernandes and Pogba or Van der Beek the freedom to play it further up the pitch, so that we don't have to be compressed to be stuck in our regular 4-2-3-1 setup. I don't mind this formation. This is the most effective formation United have to play, and it works for them on a consistent basis. But what they also need, and this is a mental thing, is the ability to switch up in a game. And yes, time after time, Ollie does do that. He does change the front 3, sometimes the setup in the midfield, but a surefire plan A, plan B that he can fall on will always be good, and it'll help if he could just create that. My hope is, though, if we're talking about DM's pool, if anything, is that United just need to continue suppressing opposition, giving them little time on the ball. Yes, it will mean they recoil a bit further, but we have problem solvers now. and we have an even bigger problem solver coming in very soon. So, teams and clubs where we play against this season won't sit deep. They will definitely want to make sure teams are not having all of the fun in the games, and it's up to them to show impetus and play football if you want to beat United. Because I don't think clubs nowadays want to play against Man United in the way they are right now. The form they're in, 7 from 9, it's a good start, and we'll have a look at the table in just a second. But yeah, the pivot position for me is a big talking point, and Paul Pogba isn't happy to play there, but he'll do it because this the role he's asked of by it's the role he's asked to play by Solskjaer in the meantime while we're looking into options that we could be going into the late on in the window to acquire. I hope that is the case. I hope it is that we do bring in a defensive midfielder. Whether it's allowed by the Glazers or not, I don't know. But it will play in Ollie's mind because we've now finished our first 3 Premier League games. The international break's coming up. Straight after that, we have a really tough period where Manchester United play against. I have to say, we will not have it all our own way, for sure. I may have shown, you can see at the bottom, Newcastle at home, and I'm going to be there for that. Me, Alexi, and the boys will all be there for that game. Home to Newcastle, away to BSC Young Boys in Bern. That'll be a very, very interesting game. I feel we'll probably rest a couple there, if anything, just to rotate the team a little bit. And then we go on to play West Ham twice in the space of 5 days. Victory, away at the London Stadium, and then at home in the Carabao Cup. So we're not necessarily going to have it easy in terms of priorities. If Ollie is to get a trophy this season, he will have to play well in the next few games. So those are good placeholders to see how United fare after the international break, should everyone who's going on to the international break come back unscathed. So far, I'd say we have a decent enough depth. Looking at the bench, it's good. It's just good depth. Look at that. Cavani, Martial mentioned already. Dalot looks need to stay. Van der Beek, I've mentioned him already. In fact, Van der Beek, I'm happy that he feels a lot better with what Solskjaer's telling him to do, and his agent has revigorized that confidence, which is, for me, I think, a very good thing. If Donny gets chances, and I know he will in this next period, I'm sure he'll get a shot at Young Boys and against West Ham in either Premier League or Carabao Cup game. I do believe that we're going to see a lot more of him this season. I know last season he came in at a time when he didn't get a proper chance to really settle into the club. He had to be thrown into the firing line straight away and scored on his first game, despite us losing to Palace. So, for a start, his performance today, or his performances in the upcoming games, will hopefully be key to United going forward in terms of a squad rotation aspect. Obviously, it doesn't all depend on that on that DM, but if it doesn't happen, then at the very least, we do need to hope that whoever plays with him in the midfield or is in that midfield generally can tend to perform. Lingard will still probably be here. West Ham are about to sign, I think it's Vlasic from Moscow. So that's a big signing for them, but they would have liked to bring back Jesse Lingard. Whether Lingard's still at Old Trafford after this window is a total mystery, but United are actively, as they say, looking to offload players now. It's the swift nature of the Ronaldo deal must have been trigger enough for them to no longer consider going for a midfielder, but I think we should still be active in the markets to the very last day. Lindelof was rested. Tom Heaton's there. Players who weren't available, as you can see, Rashford's still out. Eric Bailly was away for personal reasons, but I think he's injured as well. We have COVID-19 on Dean Henderson, and Langa had a knock. Ahmad has obviously been away. Oh, yeah, sorry. Ahmad and Eric Bailly came back from the Olympic Games, but it looks like Ahmad's going back out on loan to Feyenoord, so that'll give him some game time. He'll play in Europe. It'll be a competitive league, and he'll got a bit more physical game there. We hope to see a bit more of Anthony Elanga. He's had a great pre-season. I saw him play at Queen's Park Rangers. Hopefully, we get to see a lot more of him during the season. And Alex Telles, my screen's a little obstructed, but there we go. It's an ankle injury, but again, I think we'll see him during the little spell between games in the Champions League at BSA Young Boys or at home to West Ham in the Carabao Cup. But again, Telles is there for fantastic depth, and I, for one thing, any of the players we have now, in fact, all of the players we have now, will be used this season because the strain on these players already from that last season and the Euros for some was like crazy. This will be even more insane. Honestly, it will be insane. So look at that Rashford. I'm so excited to see what happens when he comes back. We have a different beast on deck when he comes back to the United team. So look at the table just very quickly. United third. We don't obviously go above West Ham because they've been incredible recently with their form, and their goal scoring in particular has been second to none. So good on them. They've performed so well to earn their right to be second. Spurs lead the way, but they've won all games 1-0. So they're going through a scrappy sort of period where they're just grinding out results on the Nuno. It'll be a while till we run into Spurs. I think it's in late October time we'll play against them. But yeah, Tottenham, West Ham, first and second is good. United above Chelsea, I think for us it was a result yesterday between them and Liverpool we needed. Controversial as it was because of the nature of the red card for Reece James and how Chelsea played that game. They were incredible in the first half. They needed, though, to kick on, and that didn't help them. But yeah, we're one of 5 teams on 7 points, still unbeaten, which is an important thing. And I think it's crucial for us to continue on that trajectory throughout this next few weeks, because we get to October and the next international break where things start to get a lot more pear-shaped for us. We will struggle a lot more with, being in control of games, especially against the teams that we're playing against. I mean, I'll show you shortly that ridiculous run we have in October, November period, which is insane to say the least. But it's a good start to the season. Honestly, 7 goals scored, 2 conceded. Okay, not great to concede goals, but I'll take it. I will take 7 goal points from 9 just to start the season. Southampton wasn't good, and it exposed some frailties about United that we now know of, but that can be improved, that can be worked on, and we'll have to hope that they can retain throughout the upcoming weeks. Let's see. I dare not go any lower in the table for sanity, really, and also for legitimate, for purpose of not embarrassing much, because people know already what the bottom of the league looks like. I've already seen Wolves not score a goal in the Premier League and yet not win a game. But yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm happy that we're in and around where we have to be at this point of the season. 3 games in, more to come. More time to improve and more to look forward to, I'm sure, as we keep going. That's half an hour, and that's it from me for now. I'll get a waffle session with Alexi very, very soon, and we'll talk more about what's happened recently, get his reactions on the Ronaldo signing, our play performance today at Wolves, and a lot more. But yeah, as always, these are going to be regular after games now. And as I've said, there's opportunities for fans outside of the show to come on. We're going to try and recruit new guests as well this year. But you can also catch me on All for United every once in a while. I'll be on there time after time, giving my thoughts on United as well. So do check that out. But also subscribe and like for more here. What a game. What a win for United. I'm chuffed to bits we got away with 3 points today. I'm off to watch Messi's first game at PSG and also watch some Serie A because that's a bananas league, but we're in sport for choice, really. I'll see you later on this week, hopefully with a waffle, with Alexi and more. But until then, take care, everyone, and good night.